All right, everybody, this is the video I have been waiting to put out. My brand new Arlong deck list I just posted last night. Got a really good game against Zoro. So, Arlong, maybe not something you would think would be like viable in the meta, but Zoro 100% going to be like one of the best decks coming up. And so if you're watching this video right now, you're about to get some nice Zoro gameplay and maybe a little bit of inspiration to kind of consider playing some Arlong. You ready to get started?
Let's go.
All right, of course I am piloting the Arlong as I am just a super fan of this deck. Of course I don't think it's going to be the best thing ever, but the East Blue that you're able to play in this deck is just incredibly strong. I mean, we're looking at Karubi right now, Hachan, as well as Geen even, like being able to tap down blockers at the end of the game and interact with buggies. Now, let's talk about one buggy interaction. Buggy says you cannot be destroyed by slash characters or, cards. Well, Arlong is a slash leader, so unfortunately they are one of the best red 1-drops in the entire game. Arlong is excluded from interacting with, but that's okay. We have non-slash 1-drops as well, and that's going to have to carry us or else.
You know, it is bold of you to say, Arlong, I'm super hyped for this, and then immediately come out and say, it's got this bad thing.
Look, it's a little bit uncomfortable to... But anyways, it's okay. Don't worry about that. Just watch the game, and we're gonna see if all that even matters, because Arlong is just, it has so many other strengths that it's gonna balance that out. Don't even worry about that. Just grab your popcorn and watch this beautiful game.
Yep, play Ezo, add myself a Fire Fist. I've played against this Arlong deck a little bit, so I know a lot of its characters that it likes to play out are going to be around the 5 and 4 area, so we think Fire Fist should be good in this matchup at some point.
Yeah, can we talk about how you already have a leg up on this, and you don't really, you already have the buggy. You don't need the Fire Fist too. Don't grab that card. All right, so we're gonna play our own searcher here and add a 7-drop Lin. Okay.
Pretty good.
That's gonna get right outside the Fire Fist range. We like that one.
And double
putting here.
Double putting is super good against the Zoro deck. You're able to pressure the board at least.
7-drop here. Do we opt to take it? No, we're actually going to take Sparrow so that we have something good to play on the following turn.
That makes sense with a nice trigger.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so these Shargo puddings are going to be able to knock down anything I try and do with some 1-drops. So we have options here. Can either play a buggy and try and figure out some other plays here, or we could just play the Zoro, and I think not attack. I think my opponent's usually going to attack back since we know they have Sparrow as a 7k, so I'm not going to be able to protect the Zoro. No reason to attack in with it. Let's just play it and have it at the board and have it on a future turn.
So we're, of course, holding a Django, so we, have a good incentive to be a little bit aggressive here, as like our last push of the game is going to be backed up by a Django. So we're also holding quite a few events in our hand as well. We have Punk Gibson. It's going to be looking pretty good against the Zoro here in a few minutes. So we are going to swing 7 with Arlong, use the leader ability to put Sparrow into play. Will he flip a jet pistol and punish?
No.
No jet pistols. So that 7k just connects, and we're going to pass the turn back. 1 Dawn open, representing something. He doesn't know what.
Well, I can never know. But, yeah, passing back here, we have a couple options of different things here. We have 4-drop Marco and Buggy, so we can add more to the table. We could try and be aggressive, but again, his characters can just attack back, and I think that's bad. Or we could try and pull a Fire Fist out here. Buggy allows for both of those options, so you're allowed to play Buggy first and kind of decide. Adding Whitebeard Pirates here.
Yeah, I like the Whitebeard Pirates. Good use of your Dawn, although...
And now here we can either Fire Fist and try and clear some of the board, or we could try and just land a 4-drop Marco and plan for a big attack on the following turn and Fire Fist all in the same time. I think both options are pretty viable. With both of these puddings, it is quite obnoxious to attack and just have them attack back. So that was like a super good start from your side, I think. Just like able to really keep up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's able to pressure the Ezo just flat out, and you're also looking to pressure the Buggy with a 1 Dawn equip, which, as you see me leave 1 Dawn open here, we are going to have the extra Dawn on occasion. to be able to equip to the pudding. So, and five Dawn, or is that 4 Dawn?
It's 4 Dawn for the
Dawn
blocker
tapped.
Marco.
Marco comes down. Right, we're gonna untap, go up to 6 Dawn here.
Definitely not 7-drop amounts of Dawn, so not too terrified of that giant creature coming down.
Right, and that is kind of why we didn't add the second one to hand. Like, the first one's already kind of a few turns away. We're going to need to create some spacing here, and the Parasparrow was actually just like a really nice pickup. So.
Definitely. This does look like a good Django turn, though. Django's been a newer card you put in the deck, and it's been doing pretty well.
So Django has a hidden second mode where you can actually tap it and be able to tap up to a 5-drop on your opponent's side of the board. And we're going to opt to try and take out that Marco while you still have, 4 life here, so you can't use the Marco ability. And you don't have any Dawn open to protect it, really, so we are looking at just 2Ks getting out of this, or 1Ks. But Parasparrow comes across the Marco, and you are just going to let it fall here. After looking at your hand, you see a lot of events, and that might be why.
Yeah, it's just got to let it go, unfortunately. But
well, when the Marco dies, we kind of sense that, hey, maybe the rest is, you just don't have a lot of counter in your hand. We're going to come across for 6 on you and just say, hey, if you have a 2K, let's see it. But if not, I'm going to take a life from you. And just like that, Zoro goes down to 3 against Arlong. And, I'm still feeling pretty good because I'm holding that Punk Gibson and I'm holding Django in hand. So we're going to make a really big final push. We're also 7-drop coming down next turn.
Yeah. And then we're just trying to figure out here what the attacks are going to look like and then what the Fire Fist should kind of be pointed at. There's a couple options. I could try and attack some of the things down that's tapped on his side. But attacking into those is generally a bit of a step up, so it's not quite as easy. And I think just Fire Fisting both of them is pretty good. Able to Atama, then Fire Fist here is an option. So can clear out both of the things that are big bodies. Still leaves the puddings, which are obnoxious, like we've said, but is at least harder for those to attack into things like the Zoro or my lead. So maybe offer up some trades there so I can clear them on a future turn.
Yeah, I mean, the Fire Fist here is just going to be overwhelmingly strong. It is something that we're kind of afraid of, is if you have the Otama to follow up with the Fire Fist on the Django. But, it's not really something that I can play around.
Right.
It's just kind of the pitfalls right now. Everyone's playing Fire Fist in the Zoro deck. And I'm kind of hoping that card falls to the wayside, as, it doesn't really feel very good in a lot of matchups. So as soon as Fire Fist starts leaving deck lists, Arlong's looking a little bit stronger. So we have that on our side. Still won't be able to attack the buggy.
We're checking some boxes. Yeah, it's Atama here. Shrink the Django, and we're able to Fire Fist. Figure out both the Parasparrow and the Django. Figure out what to pitch. It's going to be a Whitebeard Pirates. There was an option. I had another Fire Fist in hand. I could pitch that if I think I'm not going to need it, which is also fair, I think. I think this is the turn where we're trying to swing the board in our favor, so. Especially if our opponent's trying to play 7-drop next turn, we want to be able to attack in a way that helps to pressure the life total.
Yeah, and we are going to pick up Charlotte's Smoothie here. Going to let us pressure your Zoro back if we would like to do that. Buggy comes across for 5.
Yep.
And we can discard another 1K, or we can just choose to take that damage. We are going to pitch out to the 1K here. Reconsider better options here and use the Smoothie that we just picked up, because you do know about that already.
Mm-hmm.
And losing a life with the Smoothie effect is very difficult with Arlong. It's kind of just, hey, if you need to clear a big character or a push damage, then you have the option to. And, as I talked about in my deck profile video, Smoothie is also enabling Crackers. So, pitching one without pitching the other, or, without being able to keep both of them, it kind of makes the other one weaker. So of the two of those, we're going to choose to pitch out with the Smoothie first, and then once we lost the Smoothie, it's pretty easy to just lose the Cracker too. So,
yep. Unfortunately, flipping the Parasparrow was pretty bad. We were hoping that you weren't going to be able to attack back on the Zoro, except for a lead, and that we would hopefully save it with just an event or something. But instead, you were able to flip out Parasparrow, which means that it's probably going to die on the next turn, regardless of what I try and save. So instead, I opt to play Ezo and play more to the board and fill my board back up after it's going to fall here. Another Ikiko Sovereignty. Those are a lot of events in hand there.
Yeah, kind of picking those up. They're a card that's heavy in the deck list for the trigger
Mm-hmm.
more than just wanting that card in hand. So we're kind of holding a lot of it right now. This is certainly one of the matchups where Punk Gibson looks a lot better than Sovereignty. So that is a bit unfortunate that we're seeing one and not the other, but that's okay. 7K comes across here. We actually don't have anything to put into play. So a bit uncomfortable there.
Yeah. But nonetheless, like I said, not gonna be able to save the Zoro, even if I was able to do something like a Rad Beam or a Guard Point to save it. Well, Rad Beam's not a line, but even if I was to save it on the previous turn, I wouldn't be able to. Gonna let everything fall there. And look at that, you're able to kill the buggy, no problem. You just needed a different something on board to be able to.
Right, and so we're gonna try and hold open for the Punk Gibson here, and we're gonna come across for 6 to try and pressure your life total down to 2.
I think that's fair.
Or that's yeah, 6K.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, it's either that or pass with a lot of extra Dawn open.
Yep. I think it's fine there. You're still holding the 7-drop, so you're threatening it that way. But
yeah, another decent line would have been Sparrow just on the Zoro, see if you let it die, and then go 6 on the Zoro, see if you let that die. Instead, that way I can still play the 7-drop and not hold anything open.
That's
but
fair.
I was also kind of concerned that I was going to just lose the game. As you see, my hand has a lot of events and no counter power at all. So, that was a thought going through my head was, hey, I know that I have access to this 7-drop this turn, but I think if I do that, he just crits himself and then kills me. So I'm a little bit worried about taking that line.
Yep, and now the Otama can attack back on the pudding. Now that we were able to get one of those to attack. Easy attack for me, Otama. I'm not going big enough to try and go towards the face. And then looks like we drew 5-drop Marco for a turn. It's definitely an option.
You picked up Marco last turn.
Was it last turn? Okay.
Yeah, with your Ezo actually.
Oh right, yes.
Like Gordon is new.
Yeah, Gordon I think was a pickup. So maybe potentially setting up for another type of Fire Fist in future, since we still have one of those. We're able to play the 8-drop, or play the 7-drop. I should be able to clear that and the pudding or something. I'd like to.
Yeah, so I mean, I think right now your life is at 2 and you're almost stabilized here. You know that you don't have to contend with 10-drop here. So it's kind of just, hey, can I clean up the board? Can I get rid of this Parrot Sparrow? And then after that, can I just kind of get it slightly ahead of you? I think that's what Zoro's role is right now, is like you're kind of the mid-range and you're kind of forcing Arlong to be the aggro deck, which is not where Arlong really wants to be. It wants to be kind of the tempo deck, and it's hard to contend with the power of Ezos and Buggies doing that exact thing. So.
Right.
But we do get to play a lot of the tempo characters that dodge the 5-cost Marco effects, and that feels really strong. So a bit of your tempo package is falling to the wayside here, and we're going to flip over Hachan from the top of the life. Now that feels really nice. It's only a 4K body, but we are going to put it into play anyways because it will either pressure the characters on board, or I can use it to leverage a big win on the following turn as you are at 2 life. Second copy of Fiery Fist is such a burner there. Discarding an event to go alongside that, and I'm going to lose the Parrot Sparrow and Hachan that gets played.
Yeah.
And that feels so crushing.
Yeah, that was going to be nice for you to be able to put that Hachan out there, but Firefest was able to clean it up. So feels decent there. And
well, just like that, I mean, we're staring at only the ability to clean up 2 of your 3 characters there. We're going to pass back. You still have an Ezo on the board at the very least, and now we're seeing Gordon come down as well, so you're going to have 2 characters left to attack me with. I'm going to go down to 1 life. I do have some counter power in my hand, some big sovereignties, but it's not going to be enough against so many different attackers. But we do have the Django here. We do have the option of playing the Smoothie out. We could use the Django to attack a couple of times. Unfortunately, we only have 1 trigger in our hand at the moment. Otherwise, we could attack with the Arlong, put something into play, and then Django attack with the Arlong again, put another character into play. That might actually be some type of catch-up mechanic, but even the sexy lines, we can't even do that.
No, yeah, you've been struggling to find triggers at all, it seems like.
Well, we countered out with a lot of them because you are pressuring me.
Right.
So
pressure's a good
maybe
thing.
in the future, playing against Zoro, Arlong should really consider maybe not countering out with the, with those as aggressively.
Right. And we did see 7-drop come down. I kind of established that I don't think this game favors me if we're playing for a long time. Opponent's generally going to be better there, so opted to go for the crit on my own life. Got rid of a Dawn from life there.
Okay, I mean, crit on your life feels pretty good for me, so I do think I can probably survive, most of this turn. It's really going to come down to like what's in my life, but we are
Yeah.
holding sovereignty as well, so that's a big one. 10k is actually hard to reach, so um, that feels pretty good for me.
And then I'm just trying to
Fortunately,
figure out what the Dawn should be spent to like here. We have Guard Point and Radical Beam in hand. If our plan is to live another turn, then we'll need to keep those in hand. Trying to figure out some quick math. We have an 8-drop, a 8k and a 5k on board, and then we'll need to get through 10 more Dawn worth of attacks. I think we can take one of them, get out with everything else.
attack for 5k is met with a discarding Charlotte Smoothie to go to 6k on my leader, and now we're holding sovereignty for a large attack from the lead. With a good attack back, I'm actually like pretty hopeful right now. I mean, we've got the Linlin on board as an 8k, and we're also holding Django for a nice untapped leader ability, and go in twice for 9k there. So let's see if that can all play out on the following turn.
And then I'm just trying to figure out if I should be trying to attack my opponent. The problem with attacking Arlongs is you got so many triggers in the deck. It's awkward to try and figure out when I should be taking that last life from you versus when I shouldn't be. Times I want you to flip out blockers so that I know about them, or times where Akiku Sovereignty can heal you back a life. So I generally like attacking you, I think, just to make sure you get rid of that last life.
Well, it's tough, right? Because if you flip out like Pero Sparrow or Cracker, then
right.
you are, you've left yourself in a very ill position. Whereas if you just set up for, hey, on the following turn, I definitely can kill my opponent. There's like absolutely nothing that he could flip out. You might be in a position on the following turn for some strike like that. But it can be tough to say, it can be tough to see where you're going to fall.
Yeah, the other problem I had was just like I liked holding my cards for counterpower, a lot of them. So like, what should I be doing? Like, should I commit that body and lose the counterpower then? Kind of works both ways. But at least I was able to get a sovereignty with just a 6k attack. That's nice of me.
Okay, and Marco's going to come down to pop the pudding there, and we're going to untap, go to 10, and here we go. I mean, you have 2 Dawn open. Unfortunately for me, you did not tap out, so you are holding Guard Point and Radical Beam. Those cards are impressively large amounts of counter power, but let's see if we can break through those. Nice final turn here for the Arlong player, though.
Yeah.
Nice Charlotte Linlin on the board. We're like really primed up here for a large attack. We have to do a lot of math here to figure out what's the most optimal way to do this. And we're just going to say, okay, 9k coming across. We'll see what he does, because if he counters out with this, we feel pretty good about where we're at.
Yeah, the problem here is I have to cut out of this deck because you're representing 14k on the other ones. So
Yep.
Like Radical Beam plus Marco should be able to get out of a 9k attack.
Okay, now we have 2 9s, so
9. I can take the first one pretty easy. Shouldn't be worried about rush, so I think that's fine. Django
comes down, untap Arlong, and we're going to see another attack for 9 here.
Yep.
And a guard point is just unfortunate. Okay, so that is the end of there. And we have, just the Charlotte Cracker in hand to counter out with. Of course, against that huge board there.
Yeah,
it was
and the basically kind of dead.
Basically telepath that, hey, you either win here or you don't win at all. So all we need to see from the Zoro is an attack.
Yeah, just gotta get the right attacks in, figure them out. 9k, go. All right, you can do it, sir. And then be difficult. Nothing in the life? No.
Okay, we're going to pick up an 8k there, and that is the end of the game as we see Zoro come across for all he's worth, and that is a drop out of the hand there. All right, let's go back to the booth.
Let's
go. All right, thoughts on Arlong, like after, basically after seeing it kind of hold its own against Zoro for a little while?
Yeah, it was able to hold up pretty well, actually. All of the Sparrows and even the early puddings were so good. It would have been the same way, not if Nami, because Nami costs 2, but Nami's kind of the same too, where you have all those searchers that are able to just pressure down my board.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the searchers in the early game make the deck feel a lot more consistent. And against Zoro, you know, it would be the same thing against Law as well. You know,
Yeah.
having the attackers back on that is actually like really solid. But the late game closing out, just being like, here's 3 large attacks feels pretty good. I mean, you had double like large events there to get yourself out of it, but it can be kind of tough. You know?
Yeah, I've liked the Django since you added them. The flexibility to be able to do that kind of double attacky, or to be able to rest is kind of nice actually.
Being able to rest, putting a 6K on the board, giving you something to attack that isn't my life, since I'm a 4-life leader.
Yeah.
Has felt like the big difference really in taking the deck to where it should be. I think the deck list is almost for Arlong. I think the deck list is like almost there.
Yeah. After seeing that game, do you think you're playing too many events, or is that still an okay number? I know you saw a lot there at the end.
Well, the sovereignty, it's unfortunate, right? Because if those had been Punk Gibson instead, like
Yes.
I think, I don't know if we could have won that game or not, but you know, we certainly would have had a little bit more options. So if they were Punk Gibsons instead of the sovereignties, I would not really even be thinking about it.
Okay.
But yeah, the sovereignties feel kind of the way sovereignty feels. You know, it's great when it's in your life. It's really poor when it's and so
Sure.
that's how it goes. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching the video. If you're still here, please consider liking the video. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that. We have been doing a ton of live streams, and we have even more content to bring you for the rest of this week and into the next for the brand new set 3. It has been so much fun already.
It's been a lot. It's been very good.
All right, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.